Just a minute, sir. We will discuss.
Sure.
Good morning, one and all present here. Welcome back to the day 4 session of ACT sponsored short-term training program. So today we have with us our guest, Dr. Vivek Mishra, founder and director and CEO, Fibroheal Wound Care Private Limited. Sir is a techno-commercial management professional, worked in various industries and capacities in the field of medical devices, pharmaceuticals, food and nutrition, agri and seed business. Sir started his current venture in the year 2017, which is based on silk protein derived wound management solutions called Fibroheal Wound Care Private Limited. Fibroheal is basically working in various wound continuum and addresses to different types and stages of wounds through their IP protected technology. Fibroheal is the first company from India and few in whole world to be leveraging the biomaterial, that is for non-textile application property of silk and silk proteins to heal different types of acute and chronic wounds. Under Vivek sir's leadership, Fibroheal won titles of winner of Elevate 100, one of the most innovative biotech startup organized by Department of IT, BT and ST Government of Karnataka, and also winner of Startup of the Year under Smart Bio Award 2020 during Bengaluru Tech Summit 2020, and also winner of National Technology Award 2020 for startup organized by Technology Development Board, a statutory board under DST, and also winner of Best IP Managed MedTech Startup during Biopharma World IE 2021 BioStart Awards, and also finalist of National Startup Awards of 2020. Sir, on behalf of the principal, directors, staff, students and management of the Department of Biotechnology, the Oxford College of Engineering, extend to you a very hearty and warm welcome for our STTP, sir. Sir, the session is over to you now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salma, and thank you very much, Oxford College of Engineering, for giving me an opportunity to come and explain our concept as well as try to bring a difference or change in the thought process which can impact many youngsters through the professors or the faculty which are present here. So to start with, I represent the company Fibroheal Wound Care Private Limited, and I will start with why name Fibroheal. So basically, we leverage the biomaterial property of silk to heal different types of acute and chronic wounds. And in silk, there are two proteins. One is called sericin, the other is called fibroin. Sericin is the upper part and the inner part is called fibroin. We utilize fibroin protein and we heal wounds utilizing fibroin protein. That's how we have given the name Fibroheal, healing through fibroin. This is a brief overview of the company. So we are a biotech startup and we leverage the biomaterial property of silk to develop various innovative wound management solutions through our IP protected technology. We have successfully commercialized 10 products because we all know that, ideas are many, but ability to execute and bring some difference on the ground is what matters the most while building up a startup or making or bringing a change. So we have successfully commercialized 10 products in the market. And why we have chosen silk? Because India produces total 33,000 metric ton of silk, out of which Karnataka produces close to 60% of that. India is second largest producer of silk, and lot of silk gets wasted in the entire value chain of reeling, weaving, and at various stages. So if you are able to leverage the biomaterial property of silk, it can have economic multiplier potential across entire value chain, whether let it be farmers or let it be the patients who are being treated or hospitals. So considering the enormous impact which can be created, we started our company, and I have just represented which part we use. So this is the cocoon. Generally, we take the broken cocoon after the silkworm transforms into moth and breaks the cocoon and emerges as a moth and produces next generation. So that empty cell, what is left out, is our starting material. So through that, we segregate two proteinous parts, sericin and fibroin. And through fibroin, we develop a range of products through which our products are formulated and brought into the market. So the main purpose, why we started this venture, because for anyone to do something, it shouldn't be pure, there needs to be some purpose, which should be the driving force. So the purpose of the starting our venture was to solve a genuine problem of acute and chronic non-healing wounds with a potential of economic multiplier. Generally, 1 lakh amputations happens every year in India. So that's a huge number, particularly to be looked at. If you are able to save few, that's a big impact. And with a lot of this online thing coming into picture, the physical activity has come down drastically, which will lead to many other lifestyle diseases. So acute and chronic wound is one such area which holds a lot of potential in coming time. Coming to awards and recognition, already Dr. Salma has briefed it. However, I have just indicated the award which we won and other places where we were finalist. Moving to next, the source of silk protein and the development part. So particularly the image is very familiar. Now you are aware that fibroin is what we use for our Fibrohil range of products. This I have indicated how silk has evolved over period, right? From early days where spider silk for hunting was used, and then various things happened, and then how silk was used as sutures in vascular surgery and other things. Silk has started gaining a lot of traction from 1960s when silk sutures and other things came into picture, and particularly after 1990s, the biomaterial and biomodified silk had started coming into picture. So not very many products are out in the market. We are first one from India to have commercialized the product, and there are about 5 companies in the world working on silk, and they are trying to bring a lot of difference, whether it is soft tissue reconstruction, including hernia, breast, and all those things, are related to wounds, are related to synovial fluid replacement. And in University of Tufts, there's a prof called Dr. Kaplan, who is supposed to be a grandmaster in silk, and he is also, helping many students work in the area of silk, even in terms of vaccine delivery. So even when, many places where cold chain is not there, it can be encapsulated in silk and it can be delivered. So these are all high kite flying thing, which holds potential. And sitting in a country where we are second largest producer of silk, we should be leveraging all those aspects. Now coming to the introduction of the company. So we registered our company in 2017, and we started, the whole concept was non-textile application of silk proteins. Mostly there are the farmers, they sell their produce to some of the middleman or in various markets, and they don't realize the right price. For us, the broken cocoon is the starting material, and if you are able to create an alternate industry, it can have a mass impact at a global level. So that's how this idea came, and we registered the company. We got our patent filed, and there are a few products which are applied for. We got initial support from Department of Information Technology, Biotechnology and Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka, as well as from BIREC. And then we won a couple of awards. Then we created necessary in-house manufacturing unit. We, after doing all the trials and necessary approvals, we got test license. Then we got our ISO, we created the facility and got it approved under ISO 13485, which is specifically for medical device. It is as good as GMP, what we call in pharma. So GMP in pharma is called as ISO 13485 in medical devices. And we got our license under medical devices rule 2017. And that's how the product has moved into the market. Right now, we are present in about 10 states, and we are trying to build a team of about 40 people across various states in the last 4 years. Now coming to the problem which we are addressing. So certain patients have difficulty in healing, or there is slow healing, or there is no healing. In certain other type of patients, there is slow and complicated wounds which don't heal on time. So non-healing and slow healing wounds is an area which is of major thirst or major importance. During the time of treatment, there is increased hospitalization cost due to a longer hospitalization stay, and there is decreased quality of life when during the treatment or healing or even post-healing, there will be a lot of scars. So these are a set of problems, particularly from the hospital perspective or patient's perspective, what we are trying to address. Coming to our solution. So our solution is completely biocompatible. It is non-allergenic, non-cytotoxic. It allows air permeability, promotes healing process. Now allows permeability, the simple concept that silkworm stays inside a perfectly closed cocoon, and silkworm is able to breathe. That itself gives a lot of quality aspects of how permeable is silk. It has high tensile strength, and during World War I, silk was used as rope for parachutes. Even there is a saying that 1 gram silk is stronger than 1 gram steel because of the beta sheet stacked. It provides scaffold for tissue regeneration and cell proliferation, leading to faster wound closure. And if the wound closes faster, the chances of scar and chances of keloid formation is much less. It can be heat sterilized. It means it can be autoclaved. Suppose someone has purchased a size of 20 by 20 and they are using 10 by 10. So 10 by 10 can be autoclaved and can be reused. And it is cost effective and efficient healing process. So cost effective means we are producing something from local produce. So we are definitely, there are no import duties and other things. So we are able to keep it affordable. And efficient healing process, there is a specific set of amino acid, glycine, alanine, serine, which acts like a natural moisturizing factor as well as assist cell proliferation and cell attachment, leading to faster wound closure. This I have indicated what impact we have created. So we can see the silk cocoon market. We have got the cocoons. The second table is where we are evaluating it. Third is the team, which is in our lab, who are working in various aspects of, finding the quality and the merit of the product. So probably some of the faces may be familiar already because they may be an alumnus from your respective colleges. And ultimately, the set of products. So we are trying to address comprehensive wound care solutions through our FibroHeal range of products. Moving forward, so one most important aspect where anyone who wants to do something major in life should focus on the societal impact. Because if you do few things right, success is bound to come to you. So once we have decided, I have just summarized the societal impact, how we have created. Upper one is for sericulture farmers and silk industry, and lower one is for wound care or wound management and hospitals. So India produces 33,000 metric ton of silk per annum. And in Karnataka alone, about 1.5 lakh families are depending on sericulture. It provides jobs to about 10.6 lakh people in Karnataka and 80 lakh people, including textiles and various things, across the country. And it is practiced in about 52,000 villages across India. Now, large amount of silk is wasted in the value chain from reeling to weaving, which can be used to develop various innovative cost-effective solutions. So that's where the idea that non-textile application of silk, if it gains traction, it can enhance earnings of the farmers. Our Prime Minister is focusing, our government is putting a lot of stress that farmers' income needs to be doubled. But saying won't happen. We need to move forward. We need to bring some changes. And even all of us, if we are able to impact 5, 10, 20, 50, whatever farmers, things will start. On the ground, we will be able to see the difference. So similarly, non-textile application of silk, enhanced farmer earnings, and improves of economics of silk production. Because there is a lot of incursion from silk, which is produced in China, and then various processes. Also, there is one startup which has come in this category. They call it Resam Mandi. So basically, because of various things which happens in Ramnagara market and the farmers don't get their money immediately, then their cocoon gets classified into A category, B category. Now many Resam Mandi buys directly, they are working like an aggregator. So they will buy it and supply it to various parts. And in fact, silk as such has excellent application in different areas, including cosmetics, including wounds, including medical devices, including surgicals, including foods, including coloring agents. So it has different impacts. And silk is one such crop which is as good as a salary. Within 45 days, the farmer can realize the whole crop. So within 40-45 days, the farmer is able to get the money back. And even if silk is cultivated in a organized and good manner, a farmer can make up to 1 lakh rupees per acre growing silk. So that's the kind of potential silk holds. Now coming to the wound care side, it is affordable and cost effective because we are able to source it locally, we are able to develop the product and through our indigenous technology, and that brings a lot of value for the patients and hospitals. During treatment, it lowers the hospitalization cost. It reduces the duration of hospital stay due to faster wound healing. Minimum dressing changes are required, and this reduces significant load on doctors' time and nursing staff, which we all saw during COVID wave 2, that there was shortage of manpower and nurses and doctors. So this can, with this, the time of the doctors and nurses' time can be saved because dressings can last up to 7 days. And there will be an increase in the quality and longevity of the life of the patients. So this is the societal impact which we are trying to create. And we also keep learning as the process we go and we interact with more and more people and we see the difference. Before I summarize, this is what we do. We utilize silk to heal different types of acute and chronic wounds. We are well respected in medical fraternity due to strong scientific research and product performance. And we are also in line with utilizing local for global. We aspire to be the most comprehensive wound management company from India, catering to entire continuum of different types of wounds. Proof of concept is validated and more than 20,000 patients are treated with our Silk range of products or wound healing solutions derived from Silk. We have a strong and stable leadership and management team. We aspire to gain 4% market share in advanced wound care market by 2026. So it's important for you to do a proper goal setting. Unless your goal setting is proper and you try to run the company or build a business, you won't be able to achieve the milestones or the objective or the goals you have set. So you need to work around a milestone, do a proper goal setting, and then work around to ensure that we are able to execute it as desired. And we have got necessary approvals from DCGI, the Control General of India, for our dressing powder particle range. And we are in the process of obtaining CE. CE is called as Conformit European, which enables you that your product is safe to be used in European countries. So this and that will open up various European markets and exports markets for us. Now I have shown some wound images for understanding. This is a case, day 0 and day 9, you can see the difference. This is case of burns. This is case of amputation. You can see 2 fingers are already amputated, and this was done at AIIMS Trauma Center, Delhi, day 0 and day 12. So if the wound wouldn't have healed, this would have led to amputation of whole leg, and that is really bad on the patient's part. I have not put a lot of images because some of the images are really dreaded, so I don't want people to feel bad early morning seeing at those images. So I have just put a couple of them. Apart from that, moving forward, also I thought to touch base one of the important aspect, that what are the various career opportunities and career possibilities for some of the students who graduate in life science or healthcare and other things. So I just thought I will touch base upon. Dr. Salma and Prof, correct me if I should touch base that point as well.
Yes, sir. You can.
Okay, so that is, I thought that may be helpful for some of the students. So generally, this is how the whole thing looks like, that considering the broader aspect of life science and healthcare. And one side you see research, one side you see management, and in between you see the higher education, which is people go for PhD or MBA. So considering all this, if someone is getting into research, they can also move into entrepreneurship. Someone who's getting into higher education, they can again move into research or into management. Then they can move into, from higher education, they can go into academia, teaching, admin, and other things. After that, they can move into product industry, or they can move into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is something at the base, so anyone, anywhere can start it and make a huge difference. Particularly, I have just touched base upon some of the points, what all people can do in academia, what all they can do in research, whether basic science, applied science, interdisciplinary science, or in terms of industrial, product development, process development, analytical development, technology transfer. When it comes to product industry, this is very helpful, which will help students to gain the areas where they can explore possibilities. Because whenever I hear any student, they want to get into R&D, without knowing what can be the aspects. So some of the important aspects are manufacturing, whether it can be on the soft floor, it can be on the formulation, pre-formulation. There again, various aspects of manufacturing, quality control, whether it is in process quality control or post the product is ready quality control, so various stages on that. Then quality assurance, stores and purchase, regulatory affairs. Regulatory affairs is one of the jobs which if person learns in 1 or 2 years, it can be really good. It's a very high paying job and it's a very niche segment where technical aspects and human level aspect is required. So regulatory affairs is one of those such areas. And with a lot of new regulations coming in, this will hold much more crucial aspects in coming time. Product management, brand management, I mean, different life cycle of the product and ensuring that how do you change, make the difference. Sales and marketing, marketing communication, these are just, I have indicated the broader perspective. And similarly in service industry, IP and IP related services, audit and accreditation, because that is, even when I'm going for CE, I have to go with TUV or DNV. So there it holds a lot of opportunities. Content and medical writing, clinical service, digital life science services, biotech IT services, project management, or employment or related consulting. So these are just some of the broader areas, whether if the students are able to focus based on their interest, putting the students or placing the students won't be that difficult. If we're clear that which are the industries and which are the companies under each industry or each area, so students can be placed easily. And again, on the management side, as well as on the entrepreneurship side. Entrepreneurship side, particularly digital healthcare has gained a lot of traction. Biomedical sciences, then social development, communication and awareness, biomedical instrumentation, or financial institution. There is a lot of VC funds to support a lot of biotech students, and they want students from biotech background who can evaluate the profile of various companies, startup, businesses, ideas, raw material processing, agri and food inputs, and many more. Similarly, on the management aspects. Before I close, this is what I will say to everyone, that all of us are facing some or the other challenges in our life, in our profession. So we need to face challenges, yet be brave and prudent while maintaining a positive approach. So with this, I close down and I am open for question answer or any discussions.
Thank you, Vivek.
Sure.
Now the forum is open for the discussion. Dear participants, you can interact with her either unmuting yourself or through posting the question in the chat box.
Sure. I always want to keep it more interactive for betterment of everyone. Anyone can ask anything.
Sir, we have a question from the participant Ganesh Ji. The question is, how is the government support for sericulture related products?
Yeah, so government is supportive. Government are keen, provided you should be doing some work which can impact many. And one important aspect they look at is what would be the kind of impact. So government support is there. Probably one of the reasons which can be highlighted that we were winner of one of the most innovative biotech startups, and government also given us given us money in the form of grant. So this is clear that government is there to support you. Government is there to open a lot of gates for you. They give us visibility. We have Bangalore Bio Innovation Center in Bangalore South, particularly Electronic City side. We have CCamp and Bangalore Life Science Cluster in North Bangalore. And in various major, major cities, government is putting a lot of thrust. So through FKCCI, through various other things, and lot can be done. Recently, a couple of days back, I was one of the members at Manthan, which is organized by FKCCI. So I was one of the members, and I heard some of the really good ideas. The students discussed on various aspects, and they were from different parts of the. So there is a lot of support and there is a lot of government. There is some disturbance. So those are, I feel there is a lot of support. Just we need to be very clear that what we want to do, and people are there to come out. Thank you, Dr. Ganesh.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can post it in the chat box. Otherwise, you can unmute and then you can ask. I'm enabling the microphone. If you want to ask the question directly to the speaker, you can unmute and then you can ask the question.
Yeah, so I can see one question, that is, do engineering students have scope in sericulture domain in research and jobs? Yes, everyone who have studied in any field had opportunity in some or the other field. For example, I am a pharmaceutical graduate, but I'm working in the area of biotech. So that's a live example. I think that answers your query, that I am not into pharma and I'm into biotech. So definitely there is a lot of scope for whoever wants to get there. They should be clear that why they want to get into that area, and when the why is clear, how becomes easy.
Vivek, since you are a pharmacist, can you highlight us how we can impregnate our plant extract into your silk protein so that we can augment the healing process?
Yeah, so particularly one important aspect is bringing the safety profile of the concept and the form of device or in the form of product what you are trying to get in. And again, getting those products or the concept or the chemical entity approved from CDSCO. So that is where most of the concepts they fail, or people don't have the vigor to take it to that level because it's expensive. You have to do a lot of clinical trials, and again, you have to ensure that it takes it takes many years. So that's where generally I see that a lot of research ideas they they don't see the light of the day, and they remain as a patent on the shelf of some of the university or the colleges. So I feel that it's important to forge the relationship between academia and industry, because I can see that there is a lot of disconnect which is there between industry and the academia. Watch the students study. Students also get into the game of I have to score 80, 90, 95, and they forget what industry needs. So to address that, since I come from a background and whether I have spent some time in different industries, and I'm not that disconnected with academia as well. So we collaborated with some of the leading institutes like IIT, Indian Institute of Science, and a couple of students from Indian Institute of Science are doing their PhD with us in the area of silk research under a program called PMRF, Prime Minister Research Fellowship, where 50% stipend is borne by the company and 50% by the SERB or so that's how we need to get into this thing. Recently, last year, RV College organized a program called National Internship Program. So there we recruited about in various batches, in a batch of 4 to 5, we onboarded various students and offered them work based on interest. Because right now, even when I interview someone, I feel that I want to do bioinformatics, I want to do computational biology. So the people are just going for glamorous things without knowing the aspects that whether it holds potential. They know AI, ML, this will impact, and they start running behind that without considering the fact that does it hold potential? The true business or making a difference won't go away. The old industry will still survive. There can be some new methods and new ways. So which I feel that if it can be sensitized to students at early stage, this can have a lot of scope. But I have slightly digressed from the topic. But coming back to your point, Prof, yes, it can be incorporated provided the product has proven its efficacy or its safety profile. And then it makes sense to invest that kind of money and get the products approved and create the marketing sales infrastructure and put the product in the market.
Entrepreneur, how can we collaborate with you? So, academicians, apart from students, projects and internship, what other area you're open for?
No, we are quite open to explore and understand various other aspects. For example, doing joint projects together, writing various proposals together. Or for example, I will indicate there's a program called Imprint under DST, where we work closely with IIT Guwahati. So that kind of things we can get into. We can get into research. We are very clear as a company, we are focused in the areas of foods. So anything which supports in the area of wound or in the area of some difference, and if something is relevant to silk or related to wound, we'll be open to explore various other things. So, and again, since we have collaborations with various institutes, there is a particular niche segment which we can take with various colleges. Whether one is student, whether one is creating that knowledge advisory or knowledge sharing sessions, or being part of a larger forum which can make an impact, or creating a thought leadership group, or those kind of things can be worked around, Prof.
One more question is there. Do you also have cosmeceutical product based on?
Yes. If you walk into any Fab India stores across the country, 238 Fab India stores are there, you will find a section which will have silk protein derived formulation, hair cream, night cream, and face wash, and all those things. We supply our ingredient to Fab India. So the silk protein, the sericin part, what we extract, it's purified, and with a particular molecular site, it is supplied to Fab India. So yes, there are many formulations, and even Hindustan Unilever has about 23 products which contains silk protein hydrolysate. So definitely in cosmetics, there's a much, much vast and much bigger canvas which can be painted in that area. Now, another from Dr. Ganesh, I can see a question: can students take up sericulture related projects at your place? So I would like to highlight it that I'm not into sericulture. I'm utilizing I'm into medtech, biotech, and sericulture is one aspect. Sericulture is a different aspect altogether for us. We don't grow silkworm, or we don't help, in the growth and the nourishment of silkworm. Whatever is the cut cocoon, when the silkworm transforms into a moth, it breaks the cocoon. Whatever cocoon which is left out, that is my starting material. So particularly silkworm wala story is taken care by. There are some other companies which are dealing with that. However, post that, biomaterial and biotech application of silk is what we are keen and interested, related to human consumption and other things. So from the value chain where silk cocoon is ready and silk is, the silkworm transforms into moth, that's when my interest starts from. Hope I have cleared your doubt, Dr. Ganesh. And how many days you allow for internship? So generally we take up for 1 month or 2 months, depending upon the conditions. Couple of students we have allowed for their fourth year projects also, BTech, biotech projects, we allowed for 6 months also.
Dear participant, please unmute yourself or post the question in the chat box.
Hello, I'm not able to hear
Sir,
you.
good morning, sir.
Good morning, good
Sir,
morning.
am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just have a doubt, like, suppose if we give you a metabolite from any bacterial source or from plant source,
Right.
how is that you basically go for a wound healing process? Is it in rats? If it is in rats, how do you go for that?
You wanted to know about the preclinical aspects?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If a new
Generally,
material,
because right now in colleges and institutes, we are not allowed to go for a wound healing procedure.
right,
It's
because of
been
various
banned.
ethics related matters, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
need to obtain a ethics approval.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to know how do they do, and if so, is it possible to collaborate with you if at all we find a metabolite of that sort?
Surely those things can be explored if it is particularly relevant to area of wound healing. So we have Indian Institute of Science where we have obtained our approval. There are a couple of companies. One is Vipragen, which is in Mysore, or Livion Labs, which is in Tumkur, or BioNeeds, which is in Bangalore, and there are many more who also does animal related testing on your products, of course with a cost. So if you have a project budget, or if you have raised money from BIREC or Government of Karnataka or any other way, you can approach them and get it done. For us, we do it with them, as well as we have collaboration with this university at Hebbal, veterinary university. So they help us with they have ethics approval and they maintain animal wala thing also. Only thing we'll have to pay for the animals and sourcing them so it can be done, but this won't be relevant if you are thinking from a product perspective. So this I wanted to highlight. For academics, for paper, this is fine. However, if you are trying to go for a product, it's important that you have to obtain a test license. First, you need to create a formulation, do your phase 1 kind of study. Initially, once you have demonstrated that, there is no, as per academic, there is no major impact, then they will offer you test license with a particular highlight that CDSC or drug control, that, you can get your product tested or do that animal model study at, say, Chitra Tirunal, Thiruvananthapuram, or Livion or Bifagen. They will highlight you and they will allow you to make about 50 or 60 products or 70 products, units, I mean, that much can be tested. So post which you get into the product wale side, because that's when this aspect starts, where you bring the product to the market. However, when it comes to research, you can collaborate with veterinary university, or you can collaborate with these institutes, and also you can collaborate with leading science institute like IISc and other places, and you can get your testing done. And also one interesting concept, one startup has come which is getting into fish models, zebrafish model, to demonstrate that. It is called Xenophi. So I know that gentleman. So that's a new concept which is much more cost effective, and even you can do wound healing study. They utilize zebrafish model to do various safety profile studies of the product. I hope I am able to address your query, Dr. Ajita.
So what are the preliminary tests we are supposed to do before getting into the animal model, especially for wound healing?
No, particularly you have to get into the material interaction profile. What is the interaction of the material? The material shouldn't be harmful, and maybe you will have to initial safety thing. There shouldn't be any major interactions, and then you need to get into those cytotoxicity, allergenicity, and those kind of profiles, biocompatibility, or if it can be left behind for some time, then move into those kind of things. But initial level, the safety profile, the material interaction needs to be demonstrated theoretically.
Especially for wound healing activity, like antibacterial study you can do, and hydroxyproline turnover
yes,
you can do.
Hydroxyproline, scratch test, and there are various set of test requirement, which I may not be able to help you out rightly, but I mean on a separate forum, if a mail is written, we will be able to address that.
Participants, if you have any more queries, please unmute yourself and talk to sir, or you can post your queries in the chat box. Sir will be with us for a few more minutes.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Rashmi from SAR MBIT.
Okay.
Yeah, sir, I have a question. How do you really manage to get this raw material for your products, and what would be the general yield that you get per kilo of cocoon or so, sir?
So very good question. So generally we have some set of farmers from where we buy the cocoon directly, and particularly we utilize bivoltine to be specific. Now generally in a cocoon you have 71 to 73% or up to 75% fibroin, and remaining part is sericin and glue. So you have to degum it, and that's a tried and tested method which is available on various platforms. You can easily find them on. So we degum the cocoon, and after degumming through those 3-4 steps, what is left out is pure fibroin. And once that pure fibroin is left out, that is our starting material. So yield, particularly for our liquid formulations or the formulation which are coated, will be in the range of about 68 to 70%, considering all the wastage and other things. So I will get 650 to 680 ml if I take 1 liter of dissolved silk, what do we say, silk cocoon or whatever. I hope I have addressed your query.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
yes,
you can really think of impregnating the herbal extract what you have done in your long back.
Yeah, I was just recollecting all that, sir.
Yeah,
We can
you can
really
incorporate.
enhance their bioavailability, and it can rapidly heal the type of wounds that we were addressing.
Right.
You
So
can
definitely.
approach Vivek, or we can collaborate, and we can give some finishing to that research work that you have carried out during those days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Truly. Most of them were half done, I feel always. We started so many things and we couldn't complete them in except for one publication, that there's a lot more to explore.
Yes, and that's where I feel that academy industry partnership is very important, because after a certain point of time, a PhD student moves out and, or a research halfway through, patent is there, provisional patent is there, and they never see the light of the day.
Even students also moves out and they forget.
Yeah.
So
we did it when we were graduates, and now our students are doing for us.
no, so that's where I realized that this PMRF program is very good, Prime Minister Research Fellowship, because student PhD is dependent on the product delivery or the concept delivery. And industry, for example, I'm one of the mentors from industry perspective, and there's one prof from IISc who is the mentor from academic side. So that kind of collaboration, students will be bound to ensure that in 4 years time frame or 4.5 years, they have to move things forward. And then there is a clear path and clear map.
Yes, sir.
So
yeah.
I feel that's something which is a very positive step forward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Certainly we'll get back to you. Yeah.
We are quite
Thank
open
you, sir.
for this type. Thank you, Dr. Rasmi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful and valuable information. So I, on behalf of the principal, staff and students of the Department of Biotechnology, the Oxford College of Engineering, extend to you a very heartfelt gratitude for this wonderful and valuable information. And in spite of your busy schedule, you have given such a wonderful talk. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again on behalf of all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Salma. Thank you, everyone, and glad
Thank
to
you,
interact
Vivek.
with.
Thank you
Thank you very
for
much.
accepting our invitation and delivering the lecture. I will hope for much more collaborative interaction.
Sure, sure.
And I hope all our faculty members who are participants will approach you for one or the other things. Please
No
cooperate
worries.
with us
Yes.
so that
Sure. We
we
are
can
there
do
to
some
help.
better for the
No worries.
society.
Sure. Thank you very
much.
much, Prof. Thank you, everyone.
So dear participants,